Dave Palumbo here with an RX Muscle news update. It's almost 1 a.m. in the morning Eastern Standard Time here, and the NPC Nationals has finally let out. And we have a new men's overall champion in Carlos Thomas Jr. Great choice. Great new pro. Great talent. I've known Carlos since he was a middleweight competing at the NPC national level. Even before that, I actually worked with him early on in his career, and great guy, is a great father. That's where the junior senior comes from. Both guys work out. His father's very passionate about bodybuilding, wanted the best for his son, and I know that Carlos has worked very hard for this victory. Think about it. He was a middleweight a couple years ago. He just won the super heavyweight class and the overall, and he was absolutely the shortest guy up there. If you looked at the overall, you can see Carlos was shorter than the light heavy and the heavyweight. That's how much mass this guy packs on his body. He has got legs like boulders. His arms and shoulders and pecs are unreal. And he brought conditioning. And I thought he was better tonight than he was at the prejudging earlier. I think he dried out, he hardened up. He did enough early on at the prejudging to beat a really good, you can't even take it away from him, because he beat a really good Nathan Spear. And I got to tell you, this guy was pushed him a little bit, I thought, of the super heavies at the prejudging. But at the night, I felt Carlos kind of shut the door, and I was, pretty convinced that he did everything he needed to do to win this show, in both the super heavy class and in the overall. What Carlos has is he has genetic gifts. His muscles flow, like a cartoon character. He almost looks unreal in a sense. I would have liked to seen him a couple pounds. I would have liked to see him 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds even lighter. I think he would have looked even freakier, to be honest with you. I thought his back could have been a little tighter and a little drier. His glutes and hams were tremendous. His quads were great. His front, his back is always his area that comes in at last. And I think, once again, he was so much better than everyone. He won this, but I think when you see him on a pro level, I think he might be able to even, do damage, right off the bat. I would have loved to seen him do like the Arnold Classic, But I know Carlos, he's going to take his time. He's going to enjoy this victory, and he's going to probably pick a show, I would say, toward the latter part of 2022, if I know him and his dad. Can't be happier. And what can you say? Nathan Spear, you're an IFBB Pro too. You play second here. You're going to be getting that pro card. I think you're going to be a great pro. You have a lot of gifts. You brought tremendous, tremendous conditioning to the stage. And the name of the game today was conditioning. We're going to talk about that in the heavyweight class in a minute. But Nathan Spear did what he had to do. I thought the whole super heavyweight class was pretty good. Matt Bursicott looked great. Chris Fine, awesome. These guys are going to be the next pros for sure come next year. Bursicott has been knocking on that door. He had a couple injuries early in his career. I definitely see him with a pro card. I see Chris Fine with a pro card next year. Terrific talents in that division. In the heavyweights, Justin Shear, wins that class. And, I wasn't even convinced that, that he was the best up there. But I will say this, he had the best conditioning. And that's what won that class for him. And I say this over and over. I beg you guys. Conditioning, conditioning, conditioning. He was polished. He was striated all over. His coloring was good. His presentation was good. And that's what won him that heavyweight class, because it was very close between him and Jordan Janowitz. Janowitz is bigger. I thought he had more gifts, genetically speaking, and more muscle. But I think that, Shear was just a little tighter. And I think that's what won it for him and pushed him into that overall against Carlos Thomas. And you know what the truth is? If you went for conditioning in the overall, you would pick Justin Shear over Carlos. But when you get a guy who's as genetically blessed as Carlos Thomas, you almost can't pick. He has to be completely off and completely smooth, and he wasn't. He was. I mean, he had glutes and he had quads and he had arms and pecs, and I mean, you can't take that away from him. That there's just too many bells and whistles. It's like Phil Heath, When you see that cartoonish muscle, your eye just goes right to that, and that's what won it for Carlos Thomas. I think he's going to be a great pro in the future. I think he's got I think he's got tremendous potential. I think he's only just begun to tap that potential. You're going to see this guy grow into a true force to be reckoned with. The only disadvantage he has is he's a little on the shorter side. So, you can't pack too much more muscle on that body. He's got to go for qualitative changes now. Improve the back detail and the depth there. He doesn't need, his quads and his arms and his shoulders are plenty big. He doesn't need any more, any more mass over there. Keep the waist small, work on the presentation, and he's going to be a great champion. Congratulations to all the people at the NPC Nationals. We'll be doing a full wrap-up of all the classes on Heavy Muscle Radio on Monday. For now, I'm Dave Palumbo with an RX Muscle News Update.